say? It's lying outside. And this is also really, that's from Dakshinamurti Shrine.
What is that?
Prasad.
Oh, did we finish 208? 28? 128? Every time they say started. This is not there in the live stream. I think we were having that day there was some difficulty.
Oh,
It is not recorded.
and then no.
Yeah, I think there was some difficulty. So
yes.
that's why I don't exactly
Yeah.
remember. But neither does anyone else. So we are in good shape. I think I finished the first line. If I remember correctly, the second line needs to be done.
We did the meanings of words.
This one's not partial.
Just one shot, one page afterwards.
ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः अरण्योर्निहितः
अरण्योर्निहितः
जातवेदाः
जातवेदाः
गर्भ इव
गर्भ इव
सुभृतो गर्भिणीभिः
सुकृतो गर्भिणीभिः
दिवे दिवे ईड्यः
दिवे दिवे ईयः
जागृद्वद्भिः
जागृद्वद्भिः
हविष्मद्भिः
हविष्मद्भिः
मनुष्येभिः
मनुष्येभिः
अग्निः
अग्निः
एतद्वै तत्
एतद्वैतत्
No, एतद् त्वया पृष्टं मया उक्तम् is the same. What you asked for is this alone. And moving on, this is all the section. This whole section is on what is called Sarvatma Bhava. What is Sarvatma Bhava? That oneness. The seeing Brahman everywhere, not pointing upwards. And seeing Brahman as everything, as everywhere, as free of time, as the truth of oneself. But where does one end and the other begin? That is what the continuity, the ways to segue from the I to, in the previous, in Vedanta 001, what one called not I. Remember the first distinction? I and not I. Atma and Anatma. That is the baby Vedanta. Now, one has graduated, if one has come this far. One has graduated on to the next level. And what is the next level? The endless I is called Sarvatma. I am here, I am there, I am everywhere. This is what the whole thing. And it's not a feeling, it's a cognitive understanding. A vision which is incumbent upon a cognitive shift of this I as the ruler of the body, mind, sense complex to the ruler of the entire universe. The little, what is that little example? The king of Raipur and the king of whole India. This is what the thing is, you know. So that is what we were talking about last time. And so here this process is described. It's not even a process meaning based on time. This change of vision is described here through many examples, and they have two purposes, these examples, starting from the first etad vaitat, and first two were introduction from verse number 3, where the first etad vaitat starts. From there, this whole section is about seeing oneself in everything, everywhere. So this expanded understanding, this expanded vision of I am in everything, as everything I persist, or Brahman is everything and I am that Brahman, it is really no difference. So this change of vision is described in the verses, and so there is a twofold purpose. One is to describe this change, the shift in the cognitive understanding of the person who is gaining this knowledge, who has gained this knowledge. The second purpose is also for the people who are in the process of getting to understand this. There is something to hold on to as an upasana, and that is what is going to be talked about more overtly. This becomes a meditation. This actually we can put into practice. You know, you take your temperature, and instead of going ballistic when you see the thermometer, oh my God, I have a fever, just say Agni, little more Agni today. You know, that is what the whole thing is. So see the commonalities that connect the I to the rest of the universe. This is an invitation to see the commonalities for the person who, based on one's own ahankara and the will, sees only the differences. It's very easy to see the difference because that is what is apparent, you know. That is what is apparent, because that is what is empirically, you know, proven. There is proof, you see, because I pinch you and I don't say ow, I make you say ow, you know. You know, karomi, and I make you say ow. Huh? And so therefore what? Therefore there is, I am not saying ow. So who is the karta? Karomi, I, but you are the one, you become my karma, you become the object of my project. You know, you become my project, I objectify you. Little does the person know that the I is never objectified. So if someone were to say, I objectify you, who is the person objectifying? The body, the mind, the senses, the other person's ahankara, but never the I. Why cannot the person objectify another I? There is no another I. There is not another I. Then why can't the person objectify the same I? Because the I is the subject, cannot be the object. You know? Then what is the object here? The objective here is to see this very thing. That the I is everywhere, is everything, and is time, is place, is everything. And so we begin like everything in Vedanta, we begin with oneself. You know? So how did it start? Let us do a little Simhavalokanam, even though it's a little too early. Let us start here. And what is this? Yena rupam rasam gandham shabdan sparshansh chamaithunan etenaiva vijanati kimatra parishishyate etad vaitat, through which all these things are experienced. Smell, taste, touch, closeness, etc. And that alone is, you know, that through which it is known, that sentient consciousness is alone there. There is nothing more to talk about. That was that. And then the one who is the experience of the waker and the dreaming states, and then is really the one who is also experiencing this Mahan Atma, who is neither waker nor dreamer nor sleeper, and knowing which all sorrow drops. You know, that is the one. And then what? Then we had that beautiful honey hog. Ya imam madhvadam veda आत्मानं जीवमन्तिकात् ईशानो भूतभव्यस्य किमत्र परिशिष्यते. This is the chorus. किमत्र परिशिष्यते. What more do you want? What more is left? What do you want? Come on, this is what you really want, and this is what you're being given. There's nothing more left. And then after that, we went to this gender bender. What was that? Yah tishtantim and tishtantam yah purvah tapaso jatam adhyah purvam. We went to the source. What is the source? Brahman as creator, Ishvara, and Ishvara vested with the creative potential. What is the creative potential here described as? Hiranyagarbha. And this Hiranyagarbha is Hiranyagarbhini. In the next one undergoes a gender change, sex assignment, reassignment surgery. Same exact words addressed to the feminine, so that one transcends this whole concept of man, woman, etc. And then we have this one, the same Hiranyagarbha, with reference to a particular subtle upadhi. What is the subtle upadhi? Fire. Why is it a subtle upadhi? Why is that one chosen? Because it's the first one the eyes can objectify. Sound, you hear, that's how you infer. Because I'm hearing, there must be space, because sound is always in space. How do you know? Because you never mind, let's not go there. So then we have, if I don't hear anything, that means there is no space. Yes, exactly. So then we have, the sense of touch. What is the sense of touch? Vayu, sense of touch. But still there is, Vayu is also subtle. Yes, you can, feel the fan is on, you can feel the Vayu coming this side. With a little help from the fan, the Vayu is directed, to blow in certain areas. And then what? The Vayu still is not very nice, because I don't see it. There is something about seeing things, yeah. Vayu is, I have to still kind of infer. When the leaf blows, I say, oh, Vayu is there. That's how I, so I see it indirectly. The fire is the first one I see directly. And and it is something that is more immediately sensed than Vayu, correct? Yeah. And how, because Vata means the body has Vata, Pitta, Kapha in various measures. Vata is the element of Vayu that is in the form of this body. So there are so many things like bones, Vata, all these things are governed by the air element. Even in Chinese medicine they say all this air element is a very big element. And if the air element is gone, there can be all kinds of things, including mental derangement. Vayu governs the mind. All these things. So that's why when somebody is, what is that? Somebody is very confused. That is dehydration, Vayu. So many connections are there. So then, even though I can sense it, it always is a, Vayu is known through drastic ways. Like when somebody falls ill, when someone is dehydrated, Vata is deranged, they say. But here the fire is known all the time. There is a certain constancy and an immediacy. All I have to remember is 96.8. Oh no, the other one. 98.6. What is 96.8? Must be a radio station. So 98.6. So this is what this is what the whole thing is. That we have to understand this this in and out, me and not me, mine and not mine. That distinction is being scrubbed out. Yes, all those barriers that one puts up are being liquidated through these verses. So yaha aranya nihitah. What is that? Yeah, aranyoho nihitah. Arani. What is arani? Yeah, not dandiya sticks, fire sticks. Okay, yeah. So many classes, so many things are happening. So better to say. So that which is nihitah as a possibility, nihitah. as a possibility. Nihitaha means is not that every stick is a joss stick, with a firebrand. No, it is a possibility because it involves like even a matchstick. That's a good example. Our modern day Arani is the matchstick. This is the Uttara Arani, and the surface against which it is struck is Adho Arani, and then so before it strikes, the potential of fire is already nihitaha. And what is that? Jata Veda. Fire is called the giver of all abundance. And the same Jata Veda, is what? Is also meaning Jate Vidyate. Jata Vedas. Vedas means, abundance, prosperity, wealth, money, wealth mostly. Jata Vedas means the one who has given birth, not to the Vedas, but to wealth. The one who gives birth to wealth is Jata Vedas. And then the same Jata Veda is different kind of samasa. Jate vidyate. Jata Veda. Avyayi bhava. And so this other one was bahuvrihi. So jate vidyate. As soon as one is born, one knows it intimately. How? Because of the temperature in the body. That is the fire element in the body, which is much more accessible than the air element or space or all these things. So that's why this is taken, because it is seen everywhere. It's this bright light, and it is there in everything, everywhere. So jate vidyate, and then the same Jata Veda is, that which is protected, as it were, by the pregnant lady, as even the baby is protected. How does she protect it? By avoiding eating the wrong things, by eating more nutritious food, by keeping the mind calm, by, keeping peaceful the atmosphere, by taking the time to rest and sleep and exercise. Through this, all this is protected, right? So jate vidyate, Jata Veda, and then these Jata Vedas, and the one who also brings forth wealth. How? You have to do a few things, like a few yajnas later, wealth comes. Yeah, first you have to spend, then you will get back. So either way you take it. So this is what is this fire, and then what? Dive idyaha, that which is adored every day. Dive, day by day. This is even in English we say that. Diva means day. It's the vyutpatti of day. Dive. Day by day. Dive. And because it is followed by E, that sandhi takes place. Shakalyasya, lopa. And so therefore that A is gone. And therefore that A is gone. So dive idya, when you say it together. So, but it is dive idya. Every day, in every day it is adored, praised, worshipped. How? How is it worshipped every day? Think of all the things, the light, the ghee lamp, the camphor lamp. You go around, natatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam. Even before the ghee lamp, you go to the river in ancient India, go to the body of water, stand either knee deep, waist deep, or chest deep, and then you offer arghya to the what? Sun. But that is sun, this is fire. Hello. Yeah, wake up. So, so this sun in the form, is a fireball. It's a fiery ball, and this is worshipped every day. That is one meaning. Then that's going to be expounded little later in the very next mantra in detail. This is one devoted to the sun. So, but here it can also mean that. But more immediately, it means dive idya, that which is adored daily in the form of the Agnihotra fire, because that is also a ritual that is done every day. So many rituals, no? Yeah. And that is also done every day. Every day it is done. And then you must not let the fire go out. That is the fun part. You have to keep the fire burning. Till when? Till the body has been cast off. And then the relatives will put into that fire the final offering in the form of this body that had been tending to the fire. You know? This body becomes the final offering to that fire. It's very beautiful. So this fire is received at the time of marriage from both the parents who have been keeping the fire, whose parents had been. So it's an endless fire from such a long time. It's holy, it's sacred, it has the blessings and the hard work of so many generations. And this fire you keep burning. That's why the Hindus were not allowed to cross the ocean, because who will tend to the fire, you know? Who will tend? Because and then if you tell the neighbor, come on, put some ghee, they will say, we have our own fire to put the ghee. You sit and put your ghee. Yeah. If you go somewhere within India, it's okay, because you carry the fire with you. You carry the fire with you. That's why in the earlier days in the trains, in the Indian railways, the Indian trains, they would have the fire. Please do not bring pots of fire into the compartment. It's a fire hazard. Because this is what, in the early days, in the British Raj, this is what was written. And in fact, they wrote it, Indian laws are all very archaic and very, oh my God, just ancient. Even now it is there in some trains. Nobody even knows what is Agnihotra. But still it is there. Because people, when the train started, they were coming along with their fire to wake up in the train early morning and pour the ghee, perhaps, I don't know. But even if they did not take the fire, there was prayashchitta possible. Like they would, maybe there were other people in the house to attend, like, children or relatives, and then they would go and they could do a instant Agnihotra anywhere next day morning, wherever they were. So anybody if you have a guest in the house, you have to give them fire sticks, you have to give them, ghee, because they have come here to stay with you. They will also naturally continue with their yajna, and you have to do all this. So you could do it there. And then after you come back, even though you've gone on a pilgrimage, you do one big prayashchitta. You see, so dive idya, that fire, that connection with the fire is never lost. And what is that fire? Your own temperature. So the standpoint of Adhyatma, this I think I have explained. Adhyatma, Adi Bhautika, Adi Daivika. That is what we did last time. Adhyatma fire, the fire that is centered on the body, mind, sense complex, is in the form of what? Is in the form of the temperature, is also in one more form. Hunger. Vaishvanaraha. Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva Praninam Deham Ashritah. And Bhagavan says, I am in the form of this fire of hunger. And I abide in every tummy. So if you want to see Bhagavan, don't eat. That's all. Yes. Oh, I have to go in for CAT scan to see Bhagavan. No. You don't need ultrasound or CAT scan. What do you need? You just need to fast. And then Bhagavan will rumble. That is the sound of Bhagavan. Who said Bhagavan doesn't make a sound? Vaishvanara makes a sound. Kuru 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 kuru. Rumble. This is Bhagavan's sound. So if you don't eat, Bhagavan comes quickly. Yeah. So this is the same fire which says here, feed me, what about me? Stop putting ghee there, swaha. Put ghee here, aha. This is what the fire is. This is the fire. And so dive idya, dive aha, swaha iti idya. Because every eating is what? Is a worship. For us it's not just, throw something in and, as though this is a dustbin. That's why only in this country people can use the word junk and food in the same sentence. Junk food. It becomes some kind of a compound. Yeah, junk food. Jankascha asau food cha. Meaning it is junk and it is food somehow. How? I don't understand. Some kind of a strange karmadharya. Like an opposite thing. It is junk, it is also food. It is also called food, but really speaking, it is junk. Or it is, madhyama pada lopa samadhi. Yeah. And so this junk food, only in this country, we don't see junk food. And we never talk about food in a bad way, because it is born of, how is the food made? Born of fire. That same fire which is used to cook the food. Fire cooks the food once outside the tummy and it cooks it again inside the tummy. This double cooker, Yeah, usually double cooker means what? Some kind of a melting pan, double. If you want to melt chocolate, you need a double cooker. Yeah, this is not it. This is a double cooker. First the raw food is cooked by the fire in the form of the cooking fire, and then it is recooked with all the nutrients assimilated in the stomach. The stomach is also a little stove, always on high. and so therefore this is something which is, dive idyaha, however you take it, it is worshipped every day. By whom? Jagradbhihi. Jagradbhihi, don't take Devadatta who stays awake at night in order to eat. No. Jagrat means people who are awake, not awake, alert. Alert so that the fire doesn't go out. Alert people who are Vaidikas, who have spent their whole life tending to the fire, and who are Jagradbhihi means they are not lazy people. Not that they are not sleeping. Here it means alert and blessed by this fire. That tejas has been absorbed by them, because if you do so much yajna, there is a certain tejas that comes. That tejas, that brilliance of the fire has been imparted to them. And then, so those are the people who are alert, who are alive. Jagradbhihi. And then who else is it adored by? Havishmadbhihi. Havishman. Who is Havishman? Man with Havish. Havish man. I told you this. What is Havish? Like ghee, firewood, all the things that is put as an offering into the holy fire is called Havish. The man who holds the Havish is called Havish man. Havishman. Havishmat. Havishman. Yeah. And this Havishmadbhihi, this, what is that? The third case plural, by the people who are the offering priests, the offerers, and who keep the offerings, away from all the moths that fall into the ghee and, flies, etc., and keep the bugs away and keep it clean and keep the wood sticks, the twigs free of dust and dirt, and pile the sticks according to size, and all these things they take care of. They take care of how many bricks. These are the Havishmat, Havishman, Havishmantaha, and these Havishmatbhihi. By them this is taken care of, and it is idya every day. It is worshipped. Even they may not be directly tending to the fire, but they are, bringing all the offerings and then preparing, they are feeding the fire in a different way. Havishmadbhihi. And then Manushyahi, not Manushyebihi. That is Chandasam, Manushyahi, by the ordinary people. And I told you how by the ordinary people, the sun arghya and the stomach fire tending. This is what it is. And what is that? Agnihi. That same fire, Adhyatma fire. What is Adhyatma fire? My own hunger, my own temperature, the fire that is centered on the body, mind, sense complex as I. Adhyatma centered on I. The fire that is Adhidaivikam. What is Adhidaivikam? That which is is given by Bhagavan, centered on Bhagavan, like the sun, centered on Bhagavan. And the law that connects me to the sun, that without the sun I cannot live, that law which connects the individual to the total is Adhi Bhautikam, that which is the element fire, which is used as the stove, which is cooking here, cooking there, everything, which is the temperature, everything, that law which connects the individual to the total is called Adhi Bhautikam, centered on the elements, centered on the surroundings. And so this is the threefold way to look at Brahman, and all differences between I and the other perish. All there is I alone. And then what is that? Etad Vaitat. We have seen this whole thing now. Yaschodeti Suryaha Astam Yatra Chagacchati Tandevas Sarve Arpitaha Tadunatyeti Kaschana Etad Vaitat Yataha means from which, cha further, from which, udeti rises, what? Suryaha, the sun. And yataha, again we have to put, and yataha cha, that yatra is yataha cha, yatra is seventh case. First is the fifth case, from which the sun rises, into which the sun sets. Astam yatra cha gacchati. Astam eti means astam gacchati, sets. Udeti means rises. So from that causeless cause, that causeless cause from which everything rises, here the sun. And yasmin eva praliyate gacchati, from which it disappears, into which it disappears, from which it rises, into which it disappears. That causeless cause, what happens? That causeless cause are all centered, all the celestials, all the forces, all the intermediary forces, everything. Arpitaha. Arpitaha means are sent, revolving around this cause, are fixed on the cause. They derive the juice, their essence, their power from this cause alone. This is a causeless cause. How is it arpitaha? Like, arau iva nabhihi, and nabhi means the hub of a chariot wheel, and ara iva rathanabhau. So, rathanabhau means in the hub of the chariot wheel. Think of a bicycle wheel. What is happening in the bicycle wheel? You have a hub and then you have these spokes. The spokes are the various forces that keep this world going. The hub is that causeless cause which holds them together and directs them in all directions to do their work, guides them. So this is what. And then beyond the hub, who is holding the hub? Tadu. Beyond that, na atyeti kaschana, nothing transcends it, nothing exceeds it, nothing is beyond it. It alone is, and everything comes from it, resolves in it. But it does not come from anything or resolve into anything. This is the idea. Very beautiful. So Suryaha is the sun, and the sun is mentioned here. Very beautiful, very, very, very nice. The sun is again a luminary, and it's connected to the fire that we saw in the last mantra, and something which easily one can relate to. Even in northern countries, when you don't see the sun in the winter, you miss the sun, correct? Yeah, so that is the whole idea, that you miss the sun, meaning the sun is so important even to the non-Vaidika. The sun is a timeless example of seeing the life-giving force. So if you are a non-Vaidika, meaning you don't have Shraddha and there is no Bhagavan in one's life, what will one say? This fire ball which makes life happen on earth. Yeah. But what will we say? We will say this is a manifestation of Bhagavan. The one who is looking at it or trying to look at it is also a manifestation of Bhagavan. That is just this Bhagavan is trying to look at that Bhagavan. So this effulgence, is in fact more than that effulgence. Because while that the effulgence of the sun brings everything to light, this effulgence brings the sun to light, to whom even the sun becomes evident. That is this eye. See how beautiful this is. And so the sun becomes a beautiful stand-in for this, that anybody can understand. It's a universal example. And the sun also becomes a kind of a object of one's meditation. This is all not mentioned overtly, but here one can see this, and this is in resonance to what is mentioned in the Taittiriya Upanishad. Bhishasmad vatah pavate bhishodeti suryah bhishasmad agnischendrascha mrityurdhavati panchama iti. As though out of fear of this Brahman alone, this Bhagavan, this Hiranyagarbha, whatever you want to call it, out of this fear, not that everybody is afraid, but as though out of fear, Bhishat asmad vatah pavate. It's not a rogue wind that blows. The Vayu doesn't suddenly decide, I'm going to blow hot and cold today and confuse the people. I'm going to huff and puff and blow this house down because I feel like it. Stealing the lines from the fox. That's not what the Vata does. Vati iti Vayu, that which blows is called the wind. But then what does this wind do? It doesn't have a will. It doesn't suddenly go here, there and do whatever it feels like. And neither does it have a penchant to stay in Oklahoma all the time, in the form of typhoon. Yeah, I'm going to stay here. Oh, now I think I'll take a trip to Japan. There is a hurricane. Yeah, that is what it is. Big hurricane. Here also one fellow came, Arthur, in Florida. Yeah. So this it is not a random happening. There is nothing random in the hub of the wheel. There is nothing random. It holds the secrets to the whole movement. Itself is stationary. This is the beauty of the example. There is nothing random. Oh, I think I'll just sit still and watch. No, it directs. It keeps the wheel in place. It makes the wheel capable of movement. So too this wheel of the Jagat goes infallibly from day to night to day to the various seasons, autumn, spring, winter, summer. All these seasons unfold because of the will. What is that? A free will. A freed will. A will that is free enough to be at the service of the collective karma of the jivas. That kind of a will, whose sankalpa has created this and sustains this, and from this sankalpa everything has come. From this everything is created. Unto this alone everything resolves. So in that mantra, in the Taittiriya, the wind doesn't have free will. It is a servant to the will, as it were, of Bhagavan. But then why does Bhagavan keep sending things here and there? Why Japan? Why made Vayu take the plane and go to Japan? Why? Because of some karmic reason. There is some reason. We may not know, but we cannot. So because we don't know, we have no right to dismiss the reason. There is a reason. There is a reason for every season. There is a reason, and there is some logic, some infallibility there. Bhishodeti Suryah. This verse is that. Bhishadasmat Suryah Udeti. As though obeying this law, the sun rises and sets at a certain time in the summer and the winter. And it's not confused just because you added 1 hour and called it daylight something. Saving. Yeah. It laughs. Sun laughs. He just says, what is this? This is silly. And so he's not confused. So Surya Udeti Astameti. That's why they can predict the sunset and sunrise times. In the summer, this is how it behaves. It's a law. This is what is the law. The law that makes the sun behave in the way that it does includes solar flares, includes all kinds of things, include it becoming a red dwarf at some point in time. All this. I mean, our sun is relatively young. Everybody feels happy about that, because now we have blue dwarf, very, small light, red dwarf, slightly better, and, all these dwarfs, meaning the stars whose lights, because of that solar, they are burning inside out. They are imploding. So our sun will also do that, but right now it is a young sun, relatively. What is a billion years? 12 billion years old. What is that? Nothing much. So, so this way, it is going to, it is not saying, I think I'll become a yellow dwarf, red dwarf, why blue, I want to become yellow. It does not have a will there. The will is only one will, and it is a will-less will. Yes. That's why it is a freed will, not free will. Freed will. A will that is totally freed of any selfish, reasons to bring this Jagat into being. The Jagat exists as a kshetra, as a place, as a stomping ground for the jiva's karma. That is all it is. And so therefore what? This will is there, and the will, wills the sun to rise and set infallibly. Neither can the sun say, I'm not going to come out tomorrow, I'm depressed, I need some Prozac. Nor can the, the fire say, I think I'm going to put myself out. I feel put out, and I just feel neglected and put out. And therefore I'm going to take revenge and eat up the whole universe. It cannot say that. It is all within an order. That order is that alone which connects the individual to the total, and the connections are rife right there. If you just look, there are the connections. So where is the alienation? Where is the difference? Where is the distance? Where is the distance? There is no distance. It's all right here, right now. And it's also beautiful, so there is no alienation and no disconnection from anything. We are connected to everything. Even if you look at the physical body, fire, sun, connected. And so this sun, which makes everything come alive, which is worshipped in most traditions, even in the Farsi tradition is sun worship. In Hindu tradition, sun worship. In indigenous tradition, sun worship. It's not, sun is not worshipped. Sun is a standing for Bhagavan. Sun is not worshipped. Sun is worshipped as a medium. Sun becomes the medium to access Bhagavan, that is all pervasive. And so this is what we see, and this is what we say. And therefore what? This worshipful sun is really a standing. It is not the ultimate. What is here is this Bhagavan in the form of the sun, Bhagavan in the form of the laws that governs the sun, Bhagavan as the individual who looks at the sun. All is Bhagavan alone. So Adhyatmika, Adi Bhautika, Adi Daivikam, all is Bhagavan, Bhagavan, Bhagavan everywhere. And this itself, so Sarve Devaha. So all the beings go resolve into this Brahman, which is Atma, into this Paramatma, into this Bhagavan, which is here described as Hiranyagarbhakyam, that which is called Hiranyagarbha. And then, so the everything. So, Bhishodeti Suryah, Bhishatsmad Agnihi Cha Indraha Cha. Even the Lord of Heaven cannot just let anyone into heaven, whoever he wants. That is also following the law. And Agni we already saw in the last verse. And then Mrityuhu, the Lord of Death, who makes everyone run away from him, runs at the behest of this Bhagavan. Bhagavan says, go, aye, sir. Oh, but they were not on the list, he doesn't argue. Yeah. You didn't see the list has been upgraded. You should have downloaded that. There is an app for that. You didn't do that. Go now. Okay. Here I'm gone. So even everyone runs away from death, but death also has some bada boss from whom he runs, in deference to whom he runs. This is just said that so that you see that as the causeless cause. Itself doesn't have a cause. Itself is the whole, the truth of the universe, where everything, from which everything rises and unto which everything resolves. And this prana only, this Hiranyagarbha, is the one which is, which at whose behest that everything is, everything revolves and resolves into that only. Tadu na kaschana, nobody atyeti, nobody can cross this, nobody transcends this, nobody can cease to be connected to this. So if you say I feel disconnected, who is saying that? The one who is connected says I feel disconnected. Nobody can be disconnected from Brahman. It is not possible. Nobody says, nobody can become something other than this. Anyatvam nagacchati kaschana. Nobody can be other than Brahman. Nobody can be away from Brahman. Nobody says, I'm sick and tired of Brahman, I am walking away from Brahman. Why? Because it is Sarvatma. It is your Atma. It is every Atma. It is the truth. It is the truth, the essence of everything that happens to be you. How are you going to walk away from this? And this is a very fine meditation. Try going away from Brahman. Only focus on non-Brahman. See how far you get in your meditation. Try it. How far you will go, let's see. Whatever you look, they just focus, sift, do some vimarsha, and then sift. Which is Brahman, which is not Brahman. Choose non-Brahman. Yeah. Do this as a meditation. And immediately the disconnected person will feel connected like that. No more alienation for the one who knows this. All the alienation ceases. So this is what the whole thing is. Ceases, pun intended. And ceases to be and is seized, both. Deceased also, alienation. And so there is no more alienation. These are all very nice meditations. And then concluding this, it says, that we'll see next time, but we'll chant it. Yadeveha tadamutra Yadamutra tadanviha Mrityosa mrityumapnoti Ya iha naneva pashyati. Yeah, no etad vaitad here because this is a warning. Lord Yama is fed up now and he says how much and how many times to show this, how many times to explain this, how many times to tell this, still people are not understanding, still the fellow is crying and frying in samsara. Frying in samsara, crying in samsara. Oh, poor me, why me? Why not to someone else? Why this is happening to me? Only me, lonely me, all this. This is Yama is needs some noise cancelling headphones. These jivas make too much empty noise, this kind of victimy noises. And cha cha pa pa all the time complaining. And he deals with all these dissatisfied souls all the time. He's harvesting who? Not the not the jnanis. Jnanis don't, jnanis slip Yama's nose. But the people who don't slip the nose, who slip into the nose, are these dissatisfied people who complain all the time. And in this verse he says, shut up, quiet, all of you. Don't give me all this. Don't give me sob stories. Because I have been teaching relentlessly. This Kathopanishad I have been teaching. Keeping Nachiketa as the excuse to all you mumukshus and mumukshus wannabes, jignasus wannabes. To all these wannabes, I have been teaching earnestly and relentlessly. And the long and short of this vision, of this teaching is what? Yad iha, the laws that operate here, tadeva amutra, the same laws operate in heaven and elsewhere. It's just one law in the form of this Bhagavan. Don't think that you go somewhere else and you will have, samsaric immunity because you are in heaven. Don't rejoice because I cannot go to heaven. You know what? I don't want to go to heaven. So just don't rejoice because I am not in heaven and you can go there, and then don't go like this. I am here, you are not. Don't do that. Because the same law here, which is, what is the law? Karma. What is the law of karma? Limited karma begets finite results. Yes or no? Yes. So the same law applies when you go there. You have samsaric immunity, but by the time you do this, you are back in my arms. So therefore, the same law. So the karma from here you have taken the elsewhere, like a traveler's check. But that also you get spent faster than dollars. You don't know when you spent the last one. Time to come back. Time to go back. Kshine punye, when the punya check goes, then what happens? You check into Yama motel. That's what it is. From Swarga, you go to motel Yama. Yes, that is what it is. He comes to fetch you on a Yamaha. That's what, Yeah, that's all it is. And then what? And the whole thing starts again. And yad iha tadeva amutra. Yad amutra tadu anviha. So what is elsewhere is the same thing. Same laws apply here. Don't think you can go have an out of body experience and escape. What is this? This escape, knowing this knowledge. Here you are wondering how to escape duality. I am wondering, how are you escaping non-duality? This is Lord Yama's question. How are you escaping non-duality? It is everywhere, it is you, it is around you, it is you connecting you to everything. How can you not see that? How do you still, retain a penchant for this duality? And not only that, how do you spend endless hours of days? Dive, idya, what you worship, you find this duality worshipfuls. How do you find this? How are you in the service of this duality? How have you been enslaved by this duality? Despite all logic, despite what is clear as day, how are you here? I am fed up with you. I am fed up with seeing your face life after life after life. Every time you come and greet me, when I look at my net, it is you again. You are my net asset, and I don't like this one bit. And this is the final warning. What is the final warning? Yaha nana iva pashyati. Even though you see it, you say, oh, there is, you learnt a few smattering of Vedanta as though. Even if you say there is as though duality, I'm going to bash you up. Life after life. Sa mrityoho mrityo apnoti. Yaha nana iva pashyati. So even don't get away by saying this is as though duality. I'm as though hungry, so I'm as though sad. But what are you saying? You're really sad, but you're using the word as though. You're not using the word as though, but you're using the word as though for real. And you're seeing duality where it is not. And after all this teaching, if this has not gone into your head, Lord Yama warns, you will become my recurring deposit. You will become my net asset. You will keep on falling into my, net. And what is my net? The death net. The death knell and the death net. The death knell of this jiva is that you don't go from birth to birth. That's too much fun. You go from death to death. Let us keep it, morbid and in keeping with who I, the teacher, am. And so let us keep this strain of this tongue-in-cheek sense of humor. And from death to death he goes. Who? Yaha nana iva pashyati. Who even has the temerity to see the as though duality. He may be saying as though, but he is seeing it for real, he or she. Such a fellow who cannot understand this basic thing, this is what is going to happen. Repeatedly you come under my snare and I am going to snarl at you. Next time you come, this is a warning not to be taken lightly. More we will see next time. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Today Pradosha or something?
Yes,
Today?
came from, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know today was Pradosha.